Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Modular, the Warframe mod review series. Today we're going to be taking a look at Banshee's fourth and final augment for her final ability, Soundquake, and that is Resonating Quake. It's an augment with slightly more to it than her other augments, but it's still not really that complicated. What it does is that for every second that Soundquake is active, damage will increase by 100, the range by 1 meter, and the energy drain by 1 for every second the ability is active. The ability itself will stack up to 20 times, meaning 2,000 extra damage, 20 meters, and a very high energy drain of 20 per second. Now, the additional stats given by the mod are affected by Warframe mods as well. Damage increased by power strength, the range by power range, and the drain can be reduced with the use of duration mods. Just like the other augments, it can be picked up from Cephalon's Suda or Parent Sequence by rising to their top rank and spending 25,000 reputation with them. So as you can see, it's got a little bit more to it than some of the other augments, however it's not too bad. Once again though, the theme of this week has been to show how Banshee, she's easily one of the top support frames in the game, and easily the most underutilised frame. So how does this fit into the whole idea of that? Well, the other augments so far have really focused on buffing damage, whether it's her own damage or the team's, either through stripping armour, increasing finishing damage, or applying weak spots to enemies, mixed with crowd control, which is the knockdown from Sonic Boom or the stagger from Silence. However, Soundquake and Resonating Quake is Banshee's only real direct damage ability. However, even then it still has her signature twist on the crowd control aspect. Now, while the crowd control aspect comes from the base ability, which causes any enemy that is in the effect of Soundquake to be constantly staggered, the expanding range effect of the Resonating Quake augment not only staggers obviously further and further away, but because the range increases every second, it's actually pushing those enemies further away for every second it's active, providing more and more crowd control every second you're in the ability. But while the crowd control aspect is one of the best things about that ability, and the way it interacts with the augment is awesome, it's very important to remember that the AoE damage per second is not to be sniffed at either, especially with the extra base 2,000 damage per second at max stack. Now this augment can really push your damage from Soundquake to the next level, and used properly it can be the difference between keeping an objective and losing it. The enemies that are staggered cannot shoot at the objective, whatever it is, and then die fairly quickly to Soundquake itself. It's not only fantastic crowd control, but great damage as well. Now the best Banshee players are those that use her abilities when and where they're needed. When you're in Soundquake, you cannot use any other abilities, so remember that. Your other abilities are so powerful, it's almost a waste to be sat constantly in Soundquake. But because it's toggleable, coming out, recasting your powers, going back in again, it's one way of making sure that not only do you use a ridiculous amount of energy because of the max stack, but also making sure your whole team can still make use of the bonuses from your other abilities. Now, the downside to that, it does mean that the stacks are going to reset every time you come out with Soundquake, but I feel that's better than your team missing out on all of the other bonuses that Banshee brings to the table. Banshee is one of the few Warframes in the game that has all 4 augments available. In fact, she might be the only one, but don't quote me on that. I can't remember if any of the others do. But the amazing thing is that all 4 of these augments are good, and she is the only frame I can really say that about, that all of them are good. But I can't really say that about any other frame at this point. Another augment I'm going to have a specific build for. In fact, I have so many builds for Banshee at this point. I have more builds than config slots, which is kind of annoying. However, tomorrow is Suit Up Day, where we can finally go through Banshee as a frame in depth, look at all of her abilities, the base abilities, and take a look at the builds I've got for her. But as always, guys, many thanks for watching this quick review, and I shall see you in that Suit Up episode.